Hi, this is Steven at Classic Typewriter. I'm going to show you this 1935 Remington Rand Model 1 portable typewriter. Now, this was a staple in the 30s. It essentially became referred to as the noisy noiseless because it's got a little bit of a clanky sound to it. And this little lever, that pulls down while you pull out on this knob, and that releases the carriage. And likewise, there are two carriage release levers on either side. Now I'm going to outline some of the problems you'll find on these generally. One of these won't be working because the spring down here, which is a tiny little wire, breaks. And you can hear that nice end of line bell. Another common issue is that is also driven by a tiny little wire that often breaks. So often you won't have that lovely little end of line bell. This is a new rubber plate, and this has new rollers. And what I like about this machine, aside from its quirky angles here, because you'll see its brethren counterparts, the Noiseless and the Model 7 and the Noiseless Portable, they're just rounded up here. So it's just this interesting design. They're almost the same machines, but there's just this face on here, and the back's a little bit different. This lever is one of their designs that Remington and Underwood used. It also comes on a Noiseless Deluxe. This just folds down because the case is lower profile, so it doesn't dig into the case. Single, double, and triple line spacing. This releases the rollers. Paper bail. And you see how easy and nice that loads. Then you manually move over these. Of course, I just got a fingerprint on there. The nature of the work here. Hopefully you're cleaner than I am because you're not working on typewriters. So again, this is 1935. I love this red tab, don't you? This has a three-tone ribbon selector. The middle one doesn't move the ribbon vibrator. It's plain for like whiteout strip. And then there's red. And I will demonstrate those. You can kind of see, if you're used to a typewriter, there's just a type bar connected to this slug. And if you're unfamiliar with the Noiseless, they have this other mechanism here that would sort of slow the paper before it hits the plate and to make it quieter. Now you can hear this is a tiny bit quieter than how it was without the new platen. I have that on double spacing. And I'm getting a few drops of this cleaner that I would clean the slugs with on the paper. This is just for a demo here. Technically, if you're a really strong typist, and I used to do this, you hold down the tab while hitting the right key. When you're newer, I tend to hold down the tab and go doink, just out of laziness. Oops, backspace. Now I'm writing my customary note to new clients. I'm just kind of giving you a... That was my bad. Backspace works. Now you'll get faster in typing if you're not always having to search for the special keys. If you get really familiar with a type keyboard. Right now I'm familiar with a Gromo Colibri, so when I come on here I'm like, oh, you need to spend time between characters kind of searching for things. I have a Noiseless 2 on hand, it's just I don't use it as much these days. Now how you make an exclamation point is you'll notice there's not one on here. As you do the apostrophe and then you backspace and you put a period under it. That's common parlance for typewriters of the era. Similarly, if you want to make a 1, you do a lowercase l. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to redo this note on account of the splattering there. And I'm trying to think of what else. The tabs will hit these physical keys in the back. So make sure when you get a machine, it usually doesn't come with those. This came with 2. That's perfect. I like to have 4 if possible. I'm running low on those. Notice that this is called a carriage lift. So a carriage shift. So on some machines, just this middle segment lifts up. On a carriage shift, this whole carriage lifts up. So it's a little bit more pressure, which is why typing with a shifted key is a little bit harder. And there's a carriage lock. So just note that if you're looking for that, You can type as fast as you want on either one. You just have to learn to get stronger for the carriage shift because it's a little bit more downward pressure required to lift this heavy carriage. I say heavy. Again, feed the paper out. You can hold this button down and that'll make no ratcheting. Otherwise it goes line by line, which makes it possible to go back and find the line you were looking for. And this is a ribbon reversal, but it'll automatically reverse. If that's ever stuck, you just use this. And you can see, you probably noticed while I was typing, like this moving, which is kind of beautiful on this, that angled handle on this model. Usually that's round, and you'll see when I reverse, then that one starts spinning and pulling that way. And you have to make sure these ribbons are installed accurately. And there's a little piece that slips on here that's not that easy to find. If you don't have that, you cut off right before the eyelet and you stick the eyelet in there, and that'll still activate the reversal mechanism. The only drawback to these is that a lot of newer machines after the 50s, you just get a universal plastic ribbon and stick it on there and you're done. This one you might have to do a little winding or finagling, and you only change the ribbon every couple months. You could even go for 6 months because this ribbon is covered, unlike some models, which will keep it from drying out. This middle part would just in contact with air will dry out, and then you can move forward to a wetter part. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is again a 1935 Remington Rand Model 1. And it's a beautiful machine. This is one of the most exquisite ones I've had. I'm just celebrating right now, so I thought I'd make this video before it ships out. I sell these by the model generally. So if you order one from me, you'll get a comparable one sent soon. Thank you so much. I'll see you again next time.